Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know already, I am the one and only infamous Kentucky Yankee without a doubt. What you see behind me is Marcella. She is my 2020 Kawasaki Z900RS. She now has a little over 6,000 miles on her. I'm waiting on parts for different projects here in the shop, so I thought now was the perfect time to do an update or review on this motorbike. A couple things I've changed about it since the last time you've seen it. I'll show you a few things, in my opinion, that are prematurely wearing and breaking down. I'm always searching for the next best thing, so I'm going to let you know what motorcycle I would trade Marcella in for. And it's a beautiful day, so why not go for a rip on our Z and or Z900RS. First thing I wanted to share with you is that I had the seat reupholstered and stepped down, as you can see. It's ostrich skin and snake skin. It also has a gel insert. The seat, in my opinion, is absolutely awesome and is a great addition to Marcella's beauty. Unfortunately, when it's really hot outside or I'm touring, the sheepskin cover is over the top of that beautiful seat. When I first bought this motorcycle, I thought the seat was a little tall, but it was doable. I still feel that way about it, but it is a lot more comfortable with a lower seat. That's why I had it stepped down. If given the option, I would have chose a lower seat to start with. In the end, I'm happy with what I ended up with. Custom seat's always nice. The only other thing I changed on this motorbike was adding this little windshield on top of a windshield. I don't even know what you call it, but that's what I did right there. You can see it. I put cardboard behind it so you could get a better view of what it looks like. You know what they are. I'm sure it was the cheapest thing you could buy on earth. I probably got it from Amazon for like 20 bucks or something. And it had these big, long, ugly brackets on it. And they broke off first thing, which actually turned out to be a good thing because I just cut it all down and made it so it fit directly on the windshield. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that that windshield helped me out greatly. I love that thing. But windshields can be tricky. I had some wind buffeting along with it. What I initially did to try and correct it was just keep adjusting it, and the best thing I found to do was tilt the top in as far close to me as possible. That helped a lot. Basically, the buffeting went from boom, 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 to more of a Then I installed the little flap on top of the windshield. Now I got this little it's kind of just like a white noise. With windshields, it's all a compromise. I like this size windshield. The little flap to me is not really that ugly. I wouldn't want one any bigger. I wouldn't want one any smaller. And the little bit of white noise, I can live with it. Now for a few things that are prematurely wearing out or oddly wearing out. I have very few nitpicky things to complain about on this bike. Pretty common, I guess, for the rear tire to have a flat spot like that on it since I'm doing mostly highway miles. But it's not only flat, it's kind of dipped like that, which is a little bit odd if you ask me. Front tire, obviously, less weight on it, holding up pretty good so far. The shock, I did use a little bit of an aggressive cleaner on it, probably more aggressive than I should have, but it did affect the finish on the inside of the shock a little bit. It kind of discolored it or wanted it to bleed a little bit, I guess you could call it. That same cleaner affected the rear sprocket the same way. The reason I'm bringing it up is because it did not affect any other parts on the motorcycle. I think an inferior product was used to finish those couple parts. Not a big deal. If there's one thing that troubles me the most about things wearing, it's this. You can see on these stainless steel pipes towards the bottom, the finish is peeling off. Surprisingly, the header pipes are holding up quite well, especially considering all the debris that hits them from that fender being up so high. A complaint I had when I first bought this bike, and still have, is that the fender is too high. I wish it was a lot lower to protect the pipes. And I think for cool people, if you want the short fender, that's fine. But for old folks like me, give me a long, nice, protective fender. Or hugger. The big old can under there is still ugly. I will and have rode in any kind of weather, rain, a little bit of snow, anything. But when I'm done riding, I always wash my bike off and put it in a dry place to store it. So these pipes peeling like that is really a disappointment. They may be covered under warranty, I don't know, but I just see it happening again, so I don't really want to bother with that. Before I go any further with this review, I want you guys to know everything I mentioned is minor. I'm sure you already gathered that. If you are on the fence about buying this motorcycle, you don't know
whether or not you should purchase it. It's a big purchase to you, maybe. Maybe, what's going on up here? Check this out. This is sweet. That was good. You should have seen it. He like jumped the cliff. If you're on the fence about buying this motorcycle, here's what I say: buy it. Straight up, buy it. I have no regrets whatsoever at this point with it having 6,000 miles on it. I think 61 something. I love it. I still love it, the same as I did the first day I bought it. I would recommend it to anyone. The few things I did want to mention, because I mentioned it in my first impressions video, was the starting, the way it would rev up and all that kind of stuff, the tuning of it. I just got used to it. I've worked at many dealerships, car dealerships, and new cars a lot of times would do funky things like that. And what we would tell people is, it's just a characteristic of the vehicle. And that's the way I feel about this motorcycle. It's a characteristic of a vehicle, and it just doesn't bother me. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when it's cold or when you first start it, it has a high idle, but it comes down. The Cadillac converter, would I rip her off of there? Yes, I would. Why don't I? Because I don't like the smell of exhaust. That's why. I don't like the smell of exhaust fumes. That's the reason why. I know I'd gain a little bit of power. I know I could put another header on it, get rid of the converter and gain power, but I don't like the smell of exhaust fumes. That's the reason, and the only reason. If I could change something, it would be the height of the seat. I still would love to have it lower. Don't say, well, Benny, go buy a touring bike, because I don't want one. I like this one. I'm just saying, I'm nitpicking. I want a lower seat. If it was possible, and it's not. So no big deal. The bike's a little bit top heavy in my opinion, but there's so many other bikes that are so much worse. And for those of you that own a bike like this, I'm sure you're probably saying, shut up, dude, it ain't top heavy. Here's another one. Check it out. What's up, boss? Everybody's out mowing their grass, cutting their little grassy grass. People have mentioned changing the front sprocket so you get a higher gear. I will most likely do that because I think it would perform a little bit better, lower RPM at a higher speed, and I will do that, but I'm gonna wait till the sprockets wore out. I'm not just gonna buy parts because they make them. Listen to that bike, listen to it. Woo! That's what makes it so much fun. You can get in trouble with this thing. I'll tell you that right now. You could get in trouble with Marcella. Marcella's crazy. You are crazy, Marcella. What are you doing? I bought this motorcycle because I wanted a touring bike. And many of you gave me a lot of flack about setting it up the way I have for touring. But I will tell you this, I love it. I love it just the way it is. I love all the mods I made to it. I'm very happy with it. It's my bike. I set it up how I wanted it, and I love it. I think it's awesome. And I can't think of a better touring bike. A Goldwing would be great, but they are much bigger, much heavier than this bike. A Harley Davidson for touring, that would probably be cool, but again, heavier, not my style. I like them. I'm not gonna say I don't like them. I like all motorcycles, just not my style. This is my style, and I set it up for touring, and I'm happy I did it. Thrilled to death. I love it. This thing has unlimited power, low, mid-end, top end. Durability. How long will this bike last? I don't know. That story hasn't been told yet. My hopes are to get over 100,000 miles on this bike, but who knows? We'll see. I'm making this review with this motorcycle, with it having 6,000 miles on it, basically just to confirm what I knew when I bought it. It's awesome. I love it. I don't know that I could ever find a better motorcycle than this one. But stay tuned, I'll tell you. There might be one other motorbike that I'm interested in. Look, our third grass mower. Hey dude, you gonna look over? Two other things I forgot to mention. This motorcycle gets 43 miles to the gallon, which I think is good. The other thing is the back brake is a little spongy, and I've heard other people complain about that, and it is at times. Nothing that serious. If you don't love this bike, let me see if I can convince you to love it. Here we go. What's not to love? Woo! She's crazy. Crazy, powerful, fast motorbike. How can you not love this thing? I know I do. When you pull back on the throttle and the back end squats, you're getting ready to take off like a jet plane on this thing.
As much as I love this motorcycle, there is one motorcycle I would trade this thing off to in a heartbeat. And that is a 2022 Kawasaki Z900RS Candy Tone Blue. I absolutely love that blue color. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.